It's time for the buzz.
It's time for the buzz with the Queen Bee.
And Rachel joining us, the Queen Bee in the house. And Rach, how you doing on a Throwdown Thursday?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Loaded slate of college, high school, professional games. Good to be in the STG. And excited to hear what our top stories are. I never know what you're going to lead with. And let's get right to the buzz.
Well, I want to say first, before I even get to the stories, is if you really enjoy the Buzz with the Queen Bee, I've actually started up a Twitter page for the show and a fan page. And there's some stuff that might not make it to the show because I only have a certain amount of time. So if you want to check out maybe what stories that didn't make it on air or anything like that, extra stuff that I have on there, check out on Twitter. My handle is ESPN The Buzz, and the fan page is also on Facebook, ESPN The Buzz.
Cool, very cool.
I'm also in the middle of setting up a YouTube page, so if you've missed a couple of shows, you're curious about that stuff, if you're new to the show, check it out. Same handle, ESPN The Buzz on YouTube.
All right, you got to send me those credentials so I can promote that, Rach. I'm not even following you. I haven't even liked your Facebook page just yet.
I know it's brand spanking new.
Got breaking news, hot off the press, and let's get to the buzz. Don't go anywhere, folks. Stay tuned and listen closely. You never know what will come out of Rachel's mouth. Here we go.
All right, let's start off with a story near and dear to my heart: the firing of Lane Kiffin. Round of applause, please. Give me some round of applause, please, in the studio. Because let me tell you, every USC alumni, fan, everything was so happy. It's the only game we've been really, we were actually okay with losing to ASU. It was like 62-41, the final score. And we knew if we lost this game, he'd be out. And bravo to the athletic staff for booting him.
I'm interested to see how this one plays out. Obviously, he and Hayden had a big disagreement, and it was not working. I mean, you go 0-2 in Pac-12 play. When you're supposed to be the class of the Pac-12, it's obviously a disappointing start. You saw less and less people in the stands, and it kind of seemed like now it was an inevitable situation. I didn't hate Kiffin, but comparable to what they had before with Pete Carroll, just a different persona down there and some fresh blood was the call from the AD.
Well, I go to the games. Now that I live in LA, I go to the games, as an alumni. And let me tell you, we were screaming a couple weeks ago, fire Kiffin at the end of the game, and they didn't talk about it. You could overhear it on TV. It was so loud. The entire stadium, 93,000, was screaming, fire Kiffin. That's how you know you're a hated coach.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of fans left down there in Trojanville.
He didn't in Tennessee either when he coached for Tennessee. He didn't in Oakland. Time to get him to like a D3 school or a high school where he can't cause that much damage.
That's kind of harsh. That's kind of harsh. She just said it.
It's fine. I'm going to say it. He has a terrible track record. Just look at his track record. It's awful. So that's all I'll say. And whatever. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. Truth is truth, and it hurts. Thanks. So moving on, now that I've said my piece.
Got that off your chest.
All right, good. All right, so, we're going to talk about the government shutdown, what it's kind of doing to everything. As we know, national parks are closed. They're saying that the government doesn't have the authority to spend money on anything but, quote, essential services. But the problem is sports are not among these essential services. And now the Army-Navy game, everything else is being canceled, all these great sporting events. So, while the rest of us get to enjoy our college football for our teams, people will go to Navy, Army, all this. They don't. They miss out just because Congress can figure it out.
Yeah, I hate to see this. I really do. They're gonna play these games, aren't they? Though I mean, we're gonna get these games in. I don't know.
I hope so. I hope that they push them at least.
Last I heard, they were real close to getting it done.
Well, fingers crossed, because that would that kind of sucks for them. Like they work hard for this game, and they can't even play it, and it's not their fault. So I wish them luck at least being able to play this game soon, or any game for that matter.
It's a long-standing rivalry. I mean, they've played this game, except for a couple of years during the war, like since 1960, I think, or something like that. I mean, even beyond that, before that. I can't remember the exact date. I don't have it in front of me, but this has been a tradition. It's been a rivalry, and they got to get it in. They got to get it in somehow, some way. Now, there are more important things than sports, as we all know, but the Congress and the House disagreeing. I don't know. I don't know that. I guess you could argue that either way. I don't know. I do sports, not politics. Let's not mix the two.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, in this story, in this reality, it is. But hopefully, they'll be separated soon. So anyway, all right, that's all I say about that one. But all right, let's move on to something kind of quirky. So it's been well publicized that JayZ has decided his next venture is being a sports agent. It's all over the press. So coming up in November's interview with Vanity Fair, he actually explains why he thinks he'll be a good sports agent. And do you have any idea the reason that he gave?
Drug dealing.
Yes, drug dealing, because you learn all the budget. Like,
saw that, yeah.
Thank you for promoting drug dealing to teach you about numbers. Like, really?
Hey, you know what? If that's how he was raised and that's part of it, I mean, I don't know that needs to be well publicized, but it's probably truth, and it probably did help him to a certain extent. I don't know. I can't argue with that.
It probably did. It just made me laugh when I read it because it was such a prominent headline. I was like,
I know. I saw it too and went, oh, really? Really?
Really? Yeah. So yeah, whatever. I mean, hey, if it works for him, good job. Nice work. Maybe we could get more for drug dealers in the sports agency business and get them out of selling drugs.
No, don't go down that road. Let's not do that.
All right, so let's see. Marlins have been selling 9,100 unused tickets to the Henderson Alvarez's walk-off no-hitter in the season finale. But the problem, it's not the greatest idea to begin with, but it's not unbearably a dumb idea until they managed to print the wrong date on the printout ticket. Nice work, Marlins.
Uh-oh. That happens. Clerical error.
Yeah, so nice work, and way to waste paper. So, anyway.
No
all right, so, yeah. Okay, going on to a golf story, because I know you and St. George, including you, Devin, love your golf story.
You know it.
I know it. So anyway, pro golfer John Daly, he spent an evening last week in a dark parking lot behind some pizza place in Nashville. What was he doing? He was hitting tee shots off some guy's face. Now, the story to begin with sounds ridiculous, but humorously enough, if you look in the video or and in the photos, no one seems to be concerned with where the balls are going. And they're in a parking lot filled with cars and a street.
Was there beer involved?
I'm sure there was. They just didn't publicize it.
I'm actually intrigued by this story. So he was hitting off his face?
He's teeing off his face, and there's a photo. I actually have it on my ESPN Buzz Twitter feed if you want to check it out.
So he's got the tee in his mouth, laying on the ground. Yeah. I hope it's like a 6-inch tee.
It wasn't John Daly. He's hitting it off some random person's face.
Ooh, that takes courage. Even if it is John Daly. I mean, it takes courage. I'm not doing that for anybody. I'm just going to be honest here. No, thank you.
It's pretty interesting. So apparently he hit the balls just fine. The guy was fine. I mean, but this could have definitely gone the other way.
Yeah.
So
could have ended up with a press release from the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. At least no one was hurt.
You know what, though? Maybe he's practiced this. Maybe he's perfected this. Maybe this is like one of those tricks. You know how golfers have all these trick shots they do? Like, I've been to some of the Remax World Long Drives and some of these exhibitions. Maybe, hopefully he wasn't drinking, but maybe he's done this before, and so this wasn't a big deal. Maybe this is the first time they've captured it on camera. I don't know. Maybe it's not a big story. But it is intriguing. You caught my attention. Good job.
Thank you. That is my job as the Queen Bee. All right, here we go. So, Texas High School. Let's have a little Texas football story, because who doesn't love Texas football? They demolished another high school so badly this week, they pulled up just 12 points shy of a 43-year-old Texas State scoring record. The Connolly Cougars bludgeoned the Cedar Creek Eagles 91-15.
Ouch.
Now, apparently, the Cougars, they claim, tried not to run up the score, but, it just happened.
Well, you know what? I'm not a big fan and a believer in such a thing as running up the score. If their second string and third string running backs were running 42 dive and nobody could tackle them, then that's true. But I didn't see the footage.
Yeah, there isn't any footage. It's just a story. So there's no footage of the actual game, which would have obviously done it one way or the other. But they claim that they really didn't try. So maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But 91-15 is a brutal score for the other team.
Yeah, that's bad. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Then the state of Utah, that's why they have the mercy rule. If it's a 35-point lead in the second half, the clock continuously ticks. So if you go 3 and out, it keeps clicking right through the change of possession. So you will never, I don't think, see that kind of a score in the state of of Utah. Obviously, they don't have a mercy rule in the state of Texas.
Apparently not. Because if you think about it, though, the most stories you hear about really high scoring, like, games with a high and low score, they usually come out of Texas. So I don't think they have that rule there. So, sorry to the Cedar Creek Eagles. My bad.
I hate to be rude, but maybe work on the basics. Get back to work. Get in the weight room. I'm not a big fan of running up the score. So, next story. What do we got next?
Next story, we got Real Madrid. We got a little bit of soccer. Real Madrid defender known as Pepe. He got his face busted open during a Champions League match this week. I actually think it happened yesterday. He then got the gash on his face stapled closed right there on the pitch and continued to play.
I love this guy. Pepe, you say?
Yeah, Pepe of Real Madrid. Dude is a stud.
Yeah, that reminds me, the old days when they just rub the dirt on it. I mean, now you staple it. Now you got to get a staple, and then they put you back out there. That's clutch. That's hard. That's determination. It's not very smart, but it worked. And I'm sure he made fans, and he got press, and I don't know that I would have done the same, but I would hope that I would have if I was able to. Would you have done that, Rach? Would you just got back out there?
You know what?
What would the bee do?
What would I do? I mean, theoretically, I'd love to say yeah, but let's face it, I don't know. That's pretty intense. That might be a little bit too intense for me.
I've never been to a game, but I hear that Real Madrid is pretty gnarly. So, and the fans are rowdy and intense, and so you got to have players that match that persona of their fan base. And obviously, Pepe brought it that night, even fighting through the injury.
Yeah. So good job to Pepe. All right, let's go on it's actually one of my favorite stories this week. One of maybe two favorite stories. Bernie Kosar, I'm sure you heard about this. The former Browns quarterback who was arrested this week on suspicion of DUI. This is amazing. He was given several sobriety tests, and the officer asked Kosar if he had any problems that prevent him from standing on one leg or walking and turning. And Kosar responds that he's had several surgeries on his knees and ankles because his line couldn't block, the report says. Yeah, pretty much threw his teammates under the bus. They then arrested him on suspicion of DUI. But come on, really? You're going to blame your line a million years later? 20 years later?
Hey, he was drinking. Let's be honest. He had to come up with something. He had his goggles out and he was stumbling around, and it was all he could think of at the moment.
It's so awful. All things he could have thought of, he thought of that. And still got arrested. So clearly he threw people under the bus for nothing. So good job. Nice work. Let's see. So we got two more stories coming up this week right now. Let's go with George Paris of the Canadian Wingers. He was taken off the ice on a stretcher after falling on his face while fighting Colton Orr of the Maple Leafs. What happened is while falling, Orr held on to Paris, who was dragged down and had no way to protect himself as his face collided with the ice. So he face first splatted and knocked himself out.
Genius.
Genius.
Did we get that on video? Is that on video?
It's not on video. There's a picture of him on the ice. It's, again, on my Twitter feed, ESPN The Buzz. If you look, there's a picture of him or holding the back of his jersey, and then Paris completely stretched out on the ice, his face in the ice. It's pretty amazing.
I gotta go check that. I'm pulling up the feed now. I gotta watch this. I didn't see this. I didn't see this story. I didn't catch that.
Oh, it's great. So that was. I mean, there's a bunch of great stories this week, and then we're gonna end off with probably my favorite story of the week. So Brandon Bass, the Celtics, he doesn't know how to swim, and this went public this week. So he's currently learning how to swim in a class filled with students roughly as tall as his legs, which is really interesting. So he's trying to conquer his fear of water and says he's determined to learn. But yes, he's taking swimming lessons with 6-year-olds in the pool and says he's going to continue taking them with 6-year-olds because they're at the same level as him.
What's wrong with some people's kids?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing on every level to hear that story. And there's a picture of him in the water with a kid next to him. And he's smiling super big, and he just looks super happy, and you got to look at it and just start laughing.
Oh, that is the buzz. We got to take a break, Rach. When we come back, Buzz Time Trivia. It's next on the Devin Dixon Show.
Hey, this is J. Don Blake. When I taste a great local product like 9-Iron, I get just as excited as a tap-in for the win. When I'm out on tour, I love the support I get from Southern Utah, so make sure and support great local companies like 9-Iron. So whether you're 300 yards away or just a couple feet, make sure you have your 9-Iron.